Well, yeah, give me 1 second. We're not live yet, are we?
We will be in a second. Why?
5 seconds. Please.
Doing everything. Everything, everybody, yeah. Doing everything, yeah. No, that's
The next week is not going to be shared.
Next week won't be sure.
Why would there not be shit though?
Like Venice Hanukkah.
3 Friday nights, 2 Hanukkahs.
Shit has nothing to do with you.
You come, you say, whatever you want to do.
You're not saying you want to give share.
It works.
Then you have that tree come off from there.
Okay, why are we not on? Late already.
Whatever, the show's coming.
We are on. I just don't know that anybody's in the room because I have to go home and let all the people in.
Your wife's not there?
She might have just gotten home.
So you should have been here an hour ago. What's up with it? We're late. It's only 11 minutes.
The meeting's up. There is a waiting room. I just have to go let them
Yeah, good. You gotta let them in. That'll take another 5 minutes. Because you're the one that's making it. Two sweet rolls are in there.
I'm coming out for sure. Rabbi, I'm going to see you on Zoom in 2 minutes.
What? Is
I'm going to see the rest of you on Zoom. I know, but I don't have my hat, I don't have my jacket. I don't have a tie. You don't sit in front of Rosh Hashanah when it's exactly like this. It's a bizarre. Not coming at Torah.
You gotta let them in. There's nobody here yet. It's 3 minutes late at least.
His computer, he has to unlock it. His computer, so he has to go home and unlock it.
Good Erev Shabbos, Rabbi.
I got now Shabbos. We gotta start. Okay. Before we actually get into the Sedra, I just want to tell you an interesting zach. I mean, the difference maybe between us and European kids, talking about way before the war, after the war and before the war. When it came to Pashas Maseh, when time was Batas Maseh was separate, it was after a long time, we've got over 20 years that it was a chance. So the Baal Koreh asked my father, I was like, what do you, because that's how, that, what do you have to read all of the Masoyas or not? Now, since you're not going to make a break in the Masoyas, so should they have to read the Masoyas or not? You know, that's the, and that would be a question of a big kriya. Now we got to go all the way to Shlishi, but it's a long Shlishi. So Shiur answered him, Ma'ama diber. Look what the kids say, what the people say. There are all the Torah is, in the Gemara it says you must read at least 10 psukim in any creed, every time you make Kriyas HaTorah. The only exception is Purim, which is only 9 psukim, for whatever reason. But normally you have to have 10 psukim. In all of the Torah, there are only 2 that have 10 psukim. Everybody has a lot more and a lot more. And those 2 are Vayishlach and Maseh. So therefore, with the little kids, used to know these things, not because they were taught, what they call them, numbered, to tell me all the 7 names, all those things, simply because they're learning enough. The guy should have asked the question, why is there more psukim here? Why is there not psukim there? The kids who learned there was only 2 that have 10 psukim. So it's an interesting ahora, like what Felton said in the union of, I guess, Avas HaTorah, the joy of Torah, maybe the game of Torah, that children should have. Anyway, Stedler starts off that Yaakov sent Malachim, and some say these actual Malachim, to Esav. And he's going to say, I'm afraid. So the kasha is, didn't you just meet in the end of last week's Sedler, Malachim, that greeted you, that were throwing, that they called it Machanoim, the city, because these Malachim about Yisrael, to give you over the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz. So you're a protected person, so why are you so afraid? So the answer is, like Shiva said, the fact that I had so much covered that the Malachim came is no proof that there is no Einish. The Einish is not a Vatron, and therefore what that means is that every Aveira a person did, there will be a punishment for it. I'm not scaring anybody because we go through a lot of pains and things of that which take our taka punishments. And on the other hand, for every mitzvah we do, we're going to collect all the schar. But he doesn't match to say, well, he did 100 mitzvahs and he did 10 aveiros, so we'll give him schar for 90. We'll take out 10 of the mitzvahs and give him for 9. That he doesn't do. For every mitzvah you'll get schar, for every aveir chas v'chalil you'll get an einish. To understand Anova, so there's a Gemara that says that the Talmud Chacham is allowed to have an eighth of a gaive. The reason for it is because he should be able to have the guts to stand up for what's right. If he's an unov completely and everyone is bigger than him, or not bigger, not the word is better than him, so then there's a question, he may back off, and he backs off because he's an unov. The thing is, you have at least an eighth of guy. What does that mean, eighth of an eighth? First of all, eighth of an eighth of what? And then the ones just say 64th. I mean, what do you an eighth of an eighth? So the Goyen says it means the 8th posik in the 8th sedra. Vayishlach is the 8th sedra, and the 8th posik is Katointi mikol chasod mikol emes hashasisa havdecha. I used up all my schusim already. I don't have anything left. It's like, what does he mean by that? Why would you even think that? And Yaakov Avinu, he knew he was the Bechir Shebiavis. He knew he's the one that's going to sire Klal Yisrael. Why would you think that Katointi Michal Hasadim? And this is the type of Anova. There's a Rambam that in Pirkei Avos, then in the fourth parak by Rabbi Levitis, in the fourth mission, in the fourth parak, that he says that a person should be shvar ruach ma'od. And he explains what shvar ruach is. He says shvar ruach is the opposite of gaiva, completely opposite, two extremes. And what is the emtsoi? What is the middle? Anova. Anova is the middle. And that's a very strange thing. You know, Anova, the only praise we give for Moshe Rabbeinu is Moshe Rabbeinu, Anov mikol adam asher panei adama. Like that. That's the thing. So that's the big thing. So what are you telling me? That's a shvar ruach. And to just put the point across, I believe it's a typo. I'll explain what the typo is, but there's actually, I think in Ois V'Hada Shas, they have it as two gilses. The reason why I say it's a typo, because the same type of Sfarad, the same sefer that the guy printed from, but he found a new Rabbeinu Yaina, that's a little brown book. So the first one I read with it said that the Maisa with this Chosed Echad, that he was, they would ask him, where did you reach your highest madrege? You felt, where did you reach the point that you really feel proud of yourself? And he said he was on a ship, and he was in the steerage, all the way down on the bottom of the boat. And that was the place where people had to go to the bathroom, went down there. And there he was among the ropes, and a man came along, and he put down the word Hachosa Hazeh, Ches Amachreish, and made on him. And it didn't bother him. So when I read that, I said, a big kasha. That's the biggest balgaivanik I know. He's calling the guy a lowlife. Achosa hazeh. I'm better than you. So definitely you're not in the league of Moshe Rabbeinu already anyway. But the fact that you think you're better than certain people, I don't know where it stops. Maybe you think you're better than everybody. I don't know. You're the chassid, right? Anyway, it bothered me. A few years later, I got a different edition of the same sefer, and there it says Hasoicher Hazeh, Samach Ches Reish. Now all of a sudden, the businessman that did it. Now he didn't make any criticism about the businessman; he just told you a fact of who did it to him, and what he called. Now it comes out already that's not. So it's obviously easy typo between a Samach and a Ches and a Ches and a Samach. That's all you had switched around between Chosa and Seicha. So therefore, but anyway, it seems the same thing. But they quote two what do you call it? Two gilses, and the third, the gilsa of Hachosa Hazeh is can't be because it's supposed to be Tzei Achron, and this is Gaiva of the utmost.
Yeah, if the person was lacking in basic decency.
I'm sorry?
If the person is lacking in basic decency, that's not called chaser. That you can't call that chaser because he's lacking in something.
So,
even if he's not
good.
bad, you don't want. If he's lacking.
How do I know what he's lacking? I don't know why.
Because he sees somebody there and he believes himself on top of him. That's
Okay. If you want to hold that, okay. I don't think so. Because then you're not in the Kol Adam. I mean, there's a lot of people that felt Tzedachim, whether it's a Midas or it's in this and Tzidkis and what do you call them. That's always the way to lower. What else are they lowering? They're doing less than I'm doing. Okay, yeah. Now the question is, what is Anovataki? So, and how is it possible, Taki, that Moshe Rabbeinu could be the honor of Mikol Adam? Moshe Rabbeinu knew who he was. He was the Mekabel HaTorah, that he knew. He was the Mashiach Hashem, that he knew. He was the Avan Avim, that he knew. He was the melech. That he knew. What do you mean he's onav mikol adam asher pnei adama? Doesn't make any sense. So obviously, another doesn't mean a question of why you asking me or who am I. That is not another. That is battles. That you're saying you can't do it, so therefore you're chickening out of the avodah. So therefore, a person will never live up to his abilities because he's always going to say, "Why me?" And I think that. So you can't say why me. You have to know who you are. You have to know what keches you possess. Afal pikein, you have to be an onav. So what does an onav mean then? So Shiva wishes to quote the Gemara that we all know of Rabbi Yosef ben Bered, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, that he was sick or he died. It's different Gemaras, and somehow he came back again. And they asked him, Yeshua ben Levi asked him, "What did you see?" And he said, "Olam hafach." He said, "I saw an upside down world. El yainim l'mata, the big people are on the bottom, but tachteinim l'mayla, and the ones who are on the bottom are on the top. And I don't understand it. Don't make sense." So he answered him, "Olam ba'ol." You saw the truth. End of the Gemara. Gemara says, so Rosh Hashiva asked, he didn't understand what his kasha was. I saw that it's like that way. You don't think people